Hi, I'm Amy. My husband Ken is behind the camera.
Hi, everybody.
This is Marley. He's a 18-hand, 2,000-pound Shire. And here is our brand new Felix. The balanced saddle Felix arrived a couple of days ago to fit me and Marley. Today, we're so excited because we're going to balance our saddle for the first time on Marley and ride in it. You'll see that we have all the things that we'll need to balance this saddle with. Saddle. We have a brand new pad that has been washed. We have our fleece base pad, and we have a few baby pads in case we need those. The one thing that we love about the balance saddles is that these saddles are constructed to fit your horse in a whole new way, or actually it's a very old way of fitting saddles. The saddle is shaped like the horse is shaped, or like a healthy horse is supposed to be shaped. It's like an upside down U rather than the A shape. If your horse is having an A shape, it probably has been suffering from some kind of saddle damage. This saddle, this is a flex curve that has fit Marley, and you can see that this saddle is the same shape as Marley. The very first step in balancing your new balanced saddle is to let the horse smell the saddle. Once he authorizes it, then we'll put it on his back. This is Marley's second Felix saddle. The first one is designed to fit my husband. This one is designed to fit me with the short flaps and the short seat. The saddle is placed on the horse behind the shoulder about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So we find Marley's shoulder, which is located about here. He's on flat ground and roughly squared up. At least he's standing on all 4 feet. So, here is the back of Marley's shoulder. And Marley has suffered a tremendous amount of damage from riding him for years with saddles that do not fit him. He has been in the remedial program and has made great progress. His back has come up and it's no longer dropped. But his shoulders are still asymmetrical. The shoulder on the left side is a little further back and larger than the shoulder on the right side, which is not quite as big as the left shoulder, and this one is more forward of the shoulder on the other side. Nonetheless, this is the correct placement for this saddle. If this is the back of Marley's shoulder, there's about 2 inches or so between the back of the saddle and the front of the saddle and the back of the shoulder. Then we check to see if the saddle will drop forward a little bit. So we press on it, and there's a little tiny bit of movement. But we had exactly the same situation with the first Felix that we bought, that the saddle is brand new and fluffy yet still, and still it's not, broken in at all. But we like the way that this fits Marley. The second step is to put the pads on the horse. First, let him sniff it and acquaint himself with the new pad. think it's authorized. You should let your horses sniff the pads in the saddle before every time you put it on the horse. You want the pad to be sitting so that it's flat against the horse's back. As I said, this is a brand new pad. It's never been ridden in before, though it has been washed. So it's a little bit still stiff. A little. If you're at this point and you have the balanced saddle for the first time, you probably have had a lot of support through the entire balance faculty. And you probably have an idea where you're going to start with which pads. Because Marley has had a Felix before, we know the pad arrangement for him that worked well with that saddle, so we're going to assume that the same padding system is going to work for this Felix. This base pad also comes in a different kind with the fast rebound memory, the fast rebound foam in it. But Marley chose this fleece base pad, and it makes sense because the panels in the Felix are filled with foam instead. And so it feels better to have the foam panels with the fleece, and that's what Marley picked. So we arrange these pads on Marley's back, like so. Then we put the saddle on. And now I'll lift the pads up into the channel. And let's look at it before we do all the straps. So now I want to check to see if the front of the saddle is about 1.5 to 2 inches behind the horse's shoulder. So here's Marley's shoulder right there. And here's where the saddle is. So that's about 1 inch. So he could stand to go back a little bit. Now we have the back of the shoulder here, front of the saddle, that's about 1.5 inches on Marley. And like I said, on the other side, Marley's shoulder is in a different position. Okay. Now that we have the saddle placed on and it's in a good spot, front to back, we'll look and see, or we'll feel to see if the saddle rocks. And the saddle does not rock on Marley. It's nestled into these pads. So the saddle is good, it's stable. Now we want to look to see if the seat is balanced. And you don't look at the pommel and you don't look at the cantle, you look at the deepest part of the seat of the saddle and to see if it's level. And on Marley, right now, it may appear that the pommel is a little on the high side. It's helpful to look for a line in behind you and compare the deepest part of the saddle with the line behind the saddle to see if they're level with each other or if, one of the lines is not level. This one's very, very close, but the pommel might be a little high. But we're not too concerned about that because when we received the Felix that fits Ken, that saddle was also sitting a little nose high. But after the new pads got broken in, and we rode in it a few times, it ended up fitting Marley perfectly. He was happy with it, and it was comfortable. So if you're happy with how it's balanced and how it's fitting the horse, without rocking. Then you can do up your straps. And this is a custom saddle because Marley's pads tend to flatten out. We have the straps that go out on the fall out rings. And then we have a custom strap here that we can have that goes around this strap to try to hold the whole saddle pad on and in place.